Summit, your source for all things rock and roll. You are listening to the M3 Summit, your source for all things rock and roll.
Yeah!
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Wonderful. How you doing?
Hey, I'm great, man. Another trip to the hospital this week, Starting to love that place. It's all good. Blood clot, but,
Oh, no.
it's only in the lung.
You'll be fine. Don't worry about it.
Yeah.
I'm right here. I'm alive and well and kicking. And I got the microphone thing, the headset.
Damn good.
First of all, Bobby, it was the worst thing ever when we were signing off at the end of last episode and you were asking me about Ballroom Blitz, knowing that news was dropping.
Oh, I know. I had a couple things. I got to tell you this right now. So Rick Haas of Mach 22, who I've been working with, we had to postpone a couple things because he's self-quarantining now for 14 days. His girlfriend was exposed, and it was just, so just keep him in your prayers and thoughts.
Absolutely.
Wow.
Everything's locked down, man. I'm getting ready to start live streaming bands in here, hopefully. Yeah.
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 To be honest, it's really just the waiting game, to be honest. I mean, we really can't say all that much more than that. The big thing, is just everybody be smart, I mean, I've always had a pretty simple stance on this. Like, it's definitely a thing. Anybody who doesn't think it is just stupid, but we have the opportunity to make sure that it doesn't become a thing. So let's just make sure that everybody's looking out for each other, being careful, and just being smart. Lock it down, get healthy, and, we can't even go to the Winchester and get a pint and wait for everything to blow over, unfortunately. But we'll be all good as long as we're smart and looking out for each other.
Have him jump in, start getting the ball rolling, and hear his perspective on what it's like not doing anything.
Jimmy, your public wants you, brother.
How are you guys?
Welcome.
Oh,
Jimi Bell.
How are you? Yeah, I'm playing a lot. Well, it's Autograph and House of Lords, obviously. I have a tribute band, a really good one called Beyond Purple. That's and what that is Beyond Purple covers the entire Deep Purple family tree. So we do Deep Purple, we do Rainbow, we do all the different singers, vocalists that Rainbow had, also the different singers that Deep Purple had. And then we go into Dio and Whitesnake. So anything that Deep Purple was so much branched off of Deep Purple. So many different artists, so many different bands. So there's a lot you could, a lot of different music you could perform with. And we have a great vocalist that handles all that, Mike Gill. He really nails it. He could cover all the singers extremely well. So it's a lot of fun to be in that band. Yeah, go ahead. No, that's okay. So we got, I have that. I have a Bad Company tribute band, which I really enjoy doing as well. It's fun to play those songs. And of course, I have another band, the Wicked Gypsies. And, there's several different projects that I'm involved with. Bottoms Up, Diamondback. I mean, the list goes on. I try to stay as active as I can musically, because music is what I do. I do nothing but music. So I do studio work. I do, anything that involves music. That's what I do for a living. So when I heard you guys talking about the current situation, it's definitely affecting me a lot. Luckily, luckily I was able to prepare enough for this, so I could, not sweat it too much. But let's all hope and pray that the situation goes away pretty fast, for all of us, There are a bunch of, I have a whole bunch of friends that are musicians, but also that were smart enough to get, have regular jobs as well, during the day and, have a real life and everything. But, there are some, I happen to be one of those hardcore musicians that have always done music and nothing but music. My drummer, BJ Zampa, who's the House of Lords drummer, but he's also with Dokken now, playing drums for them. He's the same situation. He's a full-time musician. He does studio work. We just do everything that we possibly can musically, and that's what we've always done. So this is the first time, though, actually, in my all the years that I've been playing my musical career, that something this severe has ever happened. It's I've never had anything like this. I've never seen anything like this. I mean, I've never went to a grocery store and seen no toilet paper and paper towels on the shelves at all. Never in my life have I ever seen that. So, that's very weird, very strange.
Yes. You was again. Congratulations. You were recently inducted into the New England Music Hall of Fame. How does it feel to
Oh,
get
thank
that
you.
recognition?
Well, it's a great honor, and unfortunately, that's an event that got pushed ahead as well because of this. I actually saw my award, but the ceremony has been put off. I can't receive it yet until all this is taken care of. But you know, about 2 years ago, I had gotten a lifetime achievement award from All That Shreds magazine, and I thought that was a wonderful thing. So it feels really good to get recognized for your hard effort and everything that you put in, all your struggles and what you did for all your life, lifetime work. It made me feel really good. So this is another one that I'm really proud of very much.
So where is the rock for this Hall of Fame?
It's not like a museum like that. This is actually I believe here in New England they have like the Blues Hall of Fame. It's a committee that puts on that puts these things on. They host a big event at some hall or a club, and you're presented the award, and it's just a really cool thing. It's a good time. There was so much going on between the joining autograph and everything. It seemed like all this was all happening at once, and it's a great feeling, actually.
That's
awesome.
Sure.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so I have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay. So, all right. You, of course, are not the original member of either House of Lords and or Autograph.
Yeah.
Did you audition for the gig, or did you know the members of the band and they said, well, since we were already friends, come on board, or how did it come about?
Well, okay, so I'll start with Autograph. I was, I still am. I'm friends with Steve Lynch, and so we had, we reconnected after many years. I met the original members of Autograph many years ago at a NAMM show in Chicago. They used to have a NAMM show in Chicago, and I was endorsed by Kramer Guitars and Seymour Duncan, and they used to hold a big convention at some theater or some hall or something, and they'd call it the Kramer Duncan Jam. Well, I performed at that, and Autograph, the original lineup, had played at that, and I became friends with Steve. Fast forward many years later, a band that I was with, which was B.J. Zampa and Chris McCarville, who were in House of Lords but are now Dawkins Rhythm Section. We had a band called Max Explosion, and Max Explosion had an opportunity to open for the new Autograph in Massachusetts, and so I reconnected with the guys, and then every time they came around, like when they played Mohegan Sun Casino, and I would go see them. And besides, talking with Steve a lot, I started talking with Randy and Simon and Mark. So we all became very good friends. But that is not the reason, actually, why how I got the gig. I had seen that Steve had gave his notice one time late July. And I called Randy right away, actually messaged him. And I just said, Randy, I know you're getting 1,000 messages right now, but I would like an opportunity to audition. And he said to me, he says, I have a very short list of guitar players that we're thinking about. He says, but I'm definitely going to add you. Because I used to post, I post little videos of me playing. And Randy would always like them. He'd hit the like button and make a comment and whatever. So I knew he liked the way I played. And so what happened was he gave me 3 songs. And so I learned those really fast. So I said, how about a couple more? So I started, I took it upon myself to keep learning songs. Before you knew it, I had, almost their whole set learned. And then I started talking with Simon on Skype. and going over vocal parts because I sing backup, so I wanted to lock in with all my harmonies and everything, and so whatever turned in, it went from 3 songs to learning the whole set, and then Randy called. He says, "Well, you're just going to play the next 3 shows with us." So it went from that, but I still had to go to L.A. I went to L.A. I did my audition with them, and we played one song, and the band just gelled so incredible. I've never had that happen to me before, where I just walked into a situation and played, and all the musicians just gelled together like that. It really felt like we had been playing together for years, and those guys knew right after one song that I was their guitar player. They made the announcement the next day, and the social media blew up like crazy. It was really nuts. So it's a real honor to be playing with them. We got a new song coming out. I'm already writing new material with them, and it's great to write with them. Now, your question as far as House of Lords went, it was kind of the same situation, except I knew the singer from years ago. He's from Connecticut, right. James Christian. He was in a cover band called Eyes, and so after the whole thing happened, he called me around in 2005. He says, "Hey, I'm putting a House of Lords back together." He says, "Have you ever written a melodic rock song before?" And I didn't even know what a melodic rock song is, but I said, yes, I have written a melodic rock song. I said, I know how to do that. And 8 albums later and, countless tours around the world, that's what happened. We've had some very successful records out on Frontier, and the 8th one is about to release in May.
Wow.
Yeah, I do have a question about the record. Okay, the album is called New World, New Eyes, which is coming out May 8th.
Yes.
The first single, One More, how did that song come about? It sounds really heavy. It kind of has a bit of a Boston thing with the hand clap in the background.
Let me just, I'll just tell you how things happen with House of Lords. When I first started writing from them, like I said, I didn't really know exactly what a melodic rock song was, but I write a lot of riffs, I put whole songs together. What happens is I'll go to BJ's house with a whole song. That's where the studio is, and I'll give him a song, and I'll give him what I think is a complete song, and he'll say, yeah, that's a good track. Let's record it. Or he'll say, let's move this part, that, or he'll say to me, you know what else you got? And that's happened a few times. So, but what I do is, even if I have a real heavy song, like a real heavy guitar riff, by the time James does his vocals and the harmonies and adds the keyboards, he could take a real heavy song and turn it into a House of Lords song. It'll sound like one of those tracks. So that's pretty much how we do it. So we have a good system. We've been doing it like that for 15 years now.
They're all here for Jimmy. Jimmy's the star. We got to have him every week now.
Yeah, they're not here for me. They're here for you guys, honestly, because I could see all 5 of you. It's great.
I'm sorry.
Joe and Tim are wonderful people. They're hosting a massive festival here in Enfield, Connecticut. I'm praying everything is over by then. It's July 11th, and it's a 3-day event, and we're actually playing there with Autograph, Vixen, and Slaughter. And it's a free concert on top of it. It's totally free. It's going to be totally mental and an insane amount of people. So let's hope that all this is gone by then, or at least where they let events happen again. Yeah, Eddie. I've known him all my life. He goes, Eddie Eddie goes to every single concert all around the world, and I don't know how he has the money to do it, but he really does. He goes to every concert. I mean, when I'm telling you, he showed up in this little town in Nebraska one time for a festival I was playing, and I don't even know how he found it. I found out about it, but this guy goes everywhere, and he's a great music supporter. He really, really is.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
I hear you just fine. I heard you all along just fine, so I don't know what's going on out front.
Me too.
It's the accent.
That was brutal, but that's good, though.
Damn sons of bitches.
You're gonna get us fined by the FCC.
They won't know what he's saying.
3-day festival, yes. Oh boy.
There. So Jimmy, I got a question.
Go ahead, man.
So being a guitarist, and look, we've all been enough to a lot of festivals and everything, and know growing up in the 80s and everything. When you buy the first Autograph or the first House of Lords album, you see Jeff Rea, you see, Chuck Wright, go in the Autograph, you see Plunkett, you see, Lynch. And then all of a sudden you go to a show in 2020 and you go, who the heck's in the band?
Yeah.
And nothing against, look, I got a lot of friends who play at M3 who are in Dokken and everything else. So,
yeah.
But you know what I mean?
Here's that situation. Yeah, that happens a lot. I look at it in two different categories. This is just my way of thinking about it. You have a real diehard fan. There's some people that are so dedicated to the band that it's hard for them to accept anything other than the original members. They don't anything new doesn't exist to them. They don't accept change well because they're that devoted to one thing. Then there's the fan that is just so in love with the music that they want to hear the songs. And as long as there's someone in the band still, they're very happy, and honestly, that's a huge thing. Like, look at this. I'll use House of Lords, for example. I've been in House of Lords 15 years.
Yeah.
That's longer than anybody. Even 10 years was longer than any of the other members have ever been. They changed members from the first 3 albums. They had different guitar players, different drummers, different, it was a lot of changes within that first period.
It's almost like the White Snake scenario,
It
is
exactly
Coverdale the band, and it's just.
But you know what, and honestly, the band, White Snake is my buddy Mikkel Lupi plays keyboards for them, and I'm friends with Reb and Joel, and it's like the band's better than ever, and they're absolutely killer. It's just one of those things, I hope that people will really sometime really just give it a break and really say, these guys are still here. They're playing songs we love. And that's what's really important, that, we're hearing the songs. And, I got to be honest, I love playing Autograph songs. I really do. And I know that sounds weird because I haven't written any of them, any of the old songs, like I said, except for the new ones that we're doing now. But I'm having a really good time playing all their old songs. And especially I like playing the ones that they did with the new lineup, from the last record, the Get Off Your Ass record. We do 3 songs from that, and I really like those songs. I love the way Simon sings. He has He has this very powerful voice and very soulful, and I just like that. I like his style of singing. And I'll tell you I'll tell you something. When we wrote this song, "Souls on Fire" is the name of it. I wrote the song. I came up with a really good, strong head riff and a very good verse, and I sent it to the guys just to get an opinion. They all loved it right away. So the next thing that happened was I started FaceTiming back and forth with Simon, coming up with a chorus idea, and we decided, change key for it. And then once we got that recorded, it was one of those situations when I heard the song back with what Simon did to it vocally, it was exactly, if I was a singer, it would be exactly what I would have done for a song. Like what I love to hear a song be done like. And then, Randy added it and Mark added this great thing in the chorus. So it was really a great group effort for our first track together. House of Lords. Now, I'll just tell you, House of Lords is a little different. Like you mentioned, the song that's out right now. It's a very heavy riff, but I'll send those songs to James, and I won't hear anything until the song is complete, and I never know what he's going to do. Like I said, he could take the heaviest riff and lighten it up into a House of Lords sounding type song. But you never know what it is. Sometimes, he sends something back and I go, wow, I can't believe he did that over that riff. It's one of those things. Well, from their latest album, I love playing "You Are Us." I just think that's "You Are Us, We Are You." It's a great track. It's just has a very cool riff to it, and but Every Generation is great. I'm really falling in love with a lot of them. As far as some of the older ones, Jesus, what's that? Hold on, it'll come to me in a minute. There's yeah. It's when I have all the names of them. It's.
No, Steve. I'm awake. I'm listening. I'm listening intently. This is interesting.
Did you need any of my gummies?
You need hand sanitizer?
I got plenty of that.
Jimmy, I got something for you because
yes.
it kind of stems off what you were just saying, but it was also something that stems off of what Bobby was saying, and I thought this was actually kind of interesting, and I'd love to hear your take on it. When you were talking about reaching out to Randy when Steve gave his notice, when you were telling that story, it seemed like you definitely had some enthusiasm and real interest in Autograph's band. And to the average person, I mean, I've got friends in the M3 bands, and these guys, I know Bobby does, all the guys do. What is it about Autograph that got you enthusiastic to want to pick up the phone to reach out to those guys and be like, hey, I want a shot? Because Autograph to the average person might not seem like a band that would garner that kind of enthusiasm. So talk a little bit about what got you excited.
Well, a lot had to do with the band members. These were guys that I met that I knew I wanted to work with, and I actually, when I used to go see them live, before any of this went down, I always would watch the band and I would say, geez, I wonder what it would be like with me playing guitar with that band. What type music would I write with them? So I understand what you're asking. The situation when it came up, I really jumped on it. It was something I really wanted to do. Here's the other thing too. Not only that the guys are great to work with and they're wonderful people, but they also do all the shows that I've been wanting to do for a long time. The difference with House of Lords is House of Lords doesn't play much, and I would beg forever, let's tour, and it just never really happened. It was, we would do a short tour, and then it would be, okay, we're going to do another record. Let's start writing for the new record next year. And it's like, wow, that's it. I want to play. I don't want to, it's not that I didn't want to write a record. I mean, I could write a record, while I'm on the road. It's not that. I just want to be on the road. I don't want it to be sitting at my house. I don't want to go out for 2 weeks or 3 weeks out of a month, and then that's it for the whole year. That's not what I wanted. And most of everything that House of Lords did actually was mostly in Europe, because honestly, the band hadn't really done much in the U.S. for a long, long time. So the only place that we had any steam was over in Europe. We would have to go over there, and that's what we did. And the thing that I love about Autograph is I'm playing all these great festivals. They're hooked up with Sullivan Big, Big Time Entertainment, and he's just incredible. He has all these amazing bands that he puts us on with, and it's great. I like playing all these big shows, and it's the whole thing. My festival in England got canceled last weekend. We were playing a sold out festival at Hard Rock Hell in England.
Wow.
And that had to get canceled. Yeah, it was. We were headlining even on the Friday night, and I was going like, oh my God, So this is, it's one of those things that I'm just, like I said, I keep going back to praying this ends soon, but I really am. I got a lot of things coming up. I got Puerto Rico with Slaughter and Vixen, a whole bunch of stuff. A lot of shows with Slaughter, actually, and Vixen and Kicks. It's great. Yesterday. Yeah.
No problem.
Go. Oh my God.
Well, Flanagan.
You are listening to the M3 Summit, your source for all things rock and roll.
Basically, they go every single year. What will you say to them? What's your message to them? I mean, right now we're all down, thinking, oh, is this going to happen? Do you have any message to cheer them up or something?
Yeah, well, here's the thing that's really important right now for people who are, panicking or worried about the current crisis that's going on with this pandemic. But it's really, really important that people listen right now so that we can get the industry back to normal. So for people who aren't taking this seriously, there's no need to panic. It's just be smart, stay inside, stay away from all the events for now, because the whole point is that if we keep this curve away now, everything should, in theory, be, good to go by May, hopefully. And the music industry, needs to get back, because artists are really suffering through this time because all of our tours have been grounded, like everybody in all lines of work. But it's just really important to, take it a couple of days at a time now, stay healthy, stay inside, wash your hands, do all the recommended stuff, and hopefully we'll be back rocking by May. And And especially M3 is definitely one that all of us in the band are definitely looking forward to the most. So can you imagine the energy if it's like one of the first shows back after people haven't been able to go to shows for months? So I think that if anything, this could be extra special. So but it's really important for people just to be smart now. It's not, it's not about ourselves. It's about looking out for people with compromised immune systems and your elderly relatives, and stay at home and do all the things that, you've been meaning to do. Read more and, practice your instrument more and learn a language or whatever. Embrace the time.
Awesome.
And we should be back rocking.
Very quick, talking about your instruments. What's the instrument? What's the bass that you use? What's your brand?
I play Sadowski basses, the greatest bass builder in the world. He's Roger Sadowski. He's a boutique builder in New York. He has really, really incredible basses that I've had for many years. He's like family.
Awesome. Tanya, thank you so much for your time. You're awesome. You're amazing. I really, really appreciate it.
You're very welcome, and thank you for having me on, and stay healthy out there, and we'll hopefully see you at M3 soon.
Awesome. And rock and roll, Tanya. Thank you so much. Talk to you soon. You're amazing again.
Thank you, Max. Take care.
You are listening to the M3 Summit, your source for all things rock and roll.
It's going to be really mental there.
Tanya O'Callaghan.
We're all here for you, Steve. I mean, Max.
So, okay, you were talking about the whole Joan Jett thing. So, are we going back all the way to Light of Day?
Yeah, I'm in Light of Day. Yep, I'm in the movie Light of Day. I was in a band called Join Forces back in the 80s, and Join Forces was a Connecticut band, and we were the first band to ever come out and do all original music in Connecticut. No mixture of covers and originals. And so we did that, and we somehow got hooked up with Joan Jett's management. And there was a gentleman that was part of her team that was starting his own management company, and he had his partner owned a tour bus company. And so we ended up going out on tour with Joan Jett. We didn't even have a record deal. We had a 3-song cassette that we had, but we had this beautiful tour bus. So we did a whole East Coast tour with Joan Jett, and right down to the Beacon Theater in New York City, which was sold out. I mean, that was just insane. But it was funny because we became really good friends with all of her band. And her band and all of her crew were so happy that we were out on tour with them, because our bus became the party bus. They all jumped onto our bus and left Joan for almost to have the bus by herself, the other one. So, but it was great. And I have to say that Joan was the sweetest person. One of the sweetest people I ever met in my life. She treated me really good. And I was the only one that she actually wanted to take a photo with, and we talked a lot, and she really went out of her way to chat with me, and she normally doesn't do that with anybody. And then we got done with the tour, and the part came up for the movie Light of Day, and we got it. And so that's cool. That whole band joined forces, and so we're in the movie, and we played the part of the Huns. We were the heavy metal band. And I got to tell you, I never did a movie. I didn't know what it was like, but that's a whole different whole different world. Up at 4:00 in the morning, you're in makeup. They're doing your makeup and getting you all prepped up for the day. And I sat with Michael J. Fox and had breakfast with him, and what an incredible person. I mean, these are moments in my life that I'll never forget. As long as I live, it was incredible.
How much? That's got a great soundtrack to that movie too. It's like gets buried under a lot of things.
Yeah, I'm on the soundtrack album as well.
Very cool.
We did it. Yeah, we did it at the record plant, and it's great. And then that led all that ended up leading into auditioning for Ozzy. There was my videos. I was endorsed by Kramer Guitars. I sent the company sent in a tape. Kind of last minute, they had already picked Zach. Kind of. Then Sharon Osbourne saw it. She loved it. She flew me to L.A. And first I played with the band, and she sat right there while I did my audition. And then the next day I was on some big stage in a different part of LA with Ozzy, and I did about 5 songs with him. And after I was done, they said it was between me and Zach, which was a really cool thing. That's how Zach and I kind of became friends.
Wow, that's
a good story. It really is. Then I ended up
awesome story.
Then from there, Sharon Osbourne gave my tape to Geezer Butler, because Geezer was from Black Sabbath. He was forming a new band, so I ended up going to London. It was crazy. Yeah. Oh, well, I'll give you 2 stories real quick. One, probably the after they told me that it was between me and Zach, they took me out to dinner at this very expensive restaurant. As a matter of fact, it was, people in suits, probably all lawyers and doctors and everything, and here comes Ozzy, walking in, and with the whole entourage. And I was sitting there at dinner, and we're talking, and I think this is when Ozzy was still messed up a little bit. This is right after, I don't know if you remember, but Ozzy had shaved his head completely.
Yeah.
He shaved all his hair off completely for a while, and he was sitting at the dinner table, kind of a little bit out of it. So I'm eating, and the next thing I know, Ozzy's got his hands in my salad, just eating my. He put his hand right in my salad and just started eating it like that. I thought that was the funniest thing, But so I ended up going back they had some sort of a, like, I don't know if it was called a bungalow or whatever it was. They had this thing on Sunset Strip, and Ozzy's oldest daughter, Amy, the one that wasn't in the TV show, was there.
Yeah.
And Ozzy had her on her lap, and all of a sudden, Black Sabbath "Paranoid" came on MTV, and Ozzy's going, "Look, Daddy, look, Amy, there's Daddy," she was going nuts, So that was it was really a cool thing, and my other story I have to tell you real quick, because I do forget to tell this one in a lot of interviews. When I was playing with Geezer Butler, Geezer took me to Warwick Castle in England, and Warwick Castle had like mannequins of people that looked so real, wax figures. They looked human. It was incredible. Anyways, we went up to the lookout tower, and it was an old castle. Nothing's been done to it. So we're up in the lookout tower, and we happened to be staying there a little bit longer. I had Ozzy's daughter, Amy. She was there, and Geezer's 2 boys, Biff and James. So we're up there, and Geezer says, "Well, we better get down." So we took 2 steps down and realized they didn't put any lights in the spiral tower, and it was absolutely pitch black all the way down. So I literally had to pick up Amy in my arms and carry her all the way down this spiral staircase. I put my back against the wall and started walking down, and all I was doing was praying the whole time. I said, "Oh God, don't let me drop Ozzy's daughter, or my whole life is over." So it's one of those things. So that was a good story,
Yeah.
Oh, no, you wanted to ask me something about songwriting. You said there was somebody that had a question about songwriting.
Yeah, I got reached out to by someone who's watching the interview and watching the summit. His name's Jamie Lama. He's actually a local talent out of West Virginia with a really good country rock band called Copperline, and he really wanted to know like what you can talk about, like songwriting. Like, do you have a certain like process that you use, like a formula?
Well, here's what I do. Honestly, everything I do is very old school. You'll probably laugh. It wasn't not that long ago where I was still using a cassette machine right down by my amplifier. I would have an amplifier right down by my bed. And I would play guitar so much. I have the guitar in my hand constantly, working on things, whether it's soloing or song ideas. But I used to have it right there. And then if I hit something, I would hit the record button so I wouldn't forget it. Now I use my iPhone. I have the voice app that's on my iPhone. So I'll be playing, and when an idea comes, I have to put it down right away, because if I take that one idea and try to work on it any further, once I get to the further part, I'll forget the first part. I won't play it the same. So I want to try to get all these parts down exactly how I want them. And that's how it usually. So usually it starts with a riff, like a head riff, and then I'll try to come up with a verse, bridge, and chorus. And it's just one of these processes that you get used to after a while. It's like when I wrote for House of Lords, when I write for them, I learned what a melodic rock song was, and when melodic rock songs, a lot of them change key for the chorus, like they'll modulate, and I had never done that in a song before. I never modulated up for a chorus. It was always, I'm a big AC/DC fan, just so you guys know. So I'm like, that's my music.
Just keep the train.
Just so you know, yeah. It's like I could listen to that 2/4 beat all the time. People ask me all the time, Jimmy, why don't you do an instrumental record? I don't like instrumental records. I honestly, I can't listen to an instrumental record all that long. And I appreciate all those guitar players. I think they're absolutely phenomenal. But I lose, and me being a guitar player, I just lose it after a few minutes into the song. All right, I'm done with it. I want to hear singing. I want to hear Brian Johnson singing, or Bon Scott. I want that, and I want to hear the drums just laying down a solid groove. And all I want to hear is a short guitar solo. I don't like long, embellished guitar solos. You play a few bars, you play a four bar guitar solo, and you're out. It's not about the guitar solo. It's about the song. And me being a guitar player, that's a really tough thing to say, but it really is. It's about a song. It's about a good hook, and it's a good riff, a good thing, and a good chorus. The guitar solo is really just not as important as a lot of the other things. It's a great place for the guitar player to show everything he's got, and that's what you try to do. You show what you can do right in that little section, and then you move on.
Damn. Just blame it on me. Yep.
Yes, Jeannie, good friend. Yeah, she's a very good, big follower of Autograph. Wonderful people.
Jeannie's amazing. Oh, no.
Oh, William, great band. They're on the festival. In fact, they're in a band called King Cool, and they're an all original band. But they also mix in some covers so they can play out around here and make money, because the original bands up in this area are very tough. But they're a really, really good band, King Cool. Really dig them a lot. Well, Steve, I got to be honest. I'm left-handed, so I don't break the guitars that often, because it's really hard for me to get left-handed guitars. That's been a big difficult thing for me throughout my career. I'm one of these guys that alter everything too. So if I had an opportunity to get a nice vintage Strat or a nice vintage Les Paul, I would only destroy it anyway, because I can't play anything normal. I have to make it comfortable for me to play. Yeah.
That sounds good.
Yeah, I hear you. I hear you. Great.
You sound awesome.
We need to get that fixed, man. We don't have our sex appeal without you.
Yeah.
That is true. I tried more hair gel and still hasn't worked with the sex appeal.
All right,
Well,
I
I
have a
got the
question.
questions right.
I have another question.
Yep.
What was your first guitar, and do you still own it?
Oh man. My unfortunately no. My oh hold on, I just pulled this earpiece up. My first guitar, of course, being left-handed, was an Ovation acoustic guitar. My uncle was the finance manager at Ovation Guitars back in the 70s, and he managed to get me an Ovation acoustic that happened to drop on the floor, and the bowl had gotten a crack in it. So he got it for a very cheap price, and I started playing that. And my first electric was that guitar with a pickup in the sound hole. So you can imagine what a nightmare that was for me. An Ovation guitar with a sound hole pickup. And then I ended up getting an Ovation double cutaway guitar that looks similar to like an ES 335. That type of type of thing, and then being the biggest Ritchie Blackmore fan in the world, I was all about getting a Strat. So I went to Manny's in New York and got my first left-handed Sunburst Strat with a maple neck. And no, I don't have any of them. I don't have. If I had every guitar that I ever had, I would be so happy because. I've had 7 Les Pauls, about 8 Flying Vs, 4 or 5 Strats, all the Kramers. When I had my Kramer endorsement, I had like 15 Kramer guitars that they gave me. Are you showing me your guitars?
I'm up to about 160.
Are you really? Yeah, I'm at a good. I'm at a good 60 guitars right now still. And yeah, there we go. Look at that. Fantastic.
When
before you go, I got to say I want to say a big hello to one of my best buddies, Greg Livesey. He's a absolute amazing guitar player. He's a shred monster. And he's one of these guys that plays a scalp fingerboard. I don't know if you guys ever tried a guitar with a scalp fingerboard. I can't play a guitar with a scalp fingerboard. I don't have that type of feel. I guess you have to use really light strings on it. I use a gauge 10 to 46, but it's really it doesn't work good if you have a set of 10 to 46 on a scalp board. But anyways, I just want to give a big shout out.
Autograph is working on a new song. Will the band be releasing just a new song and then doing an album later, or is the song part of an album?
Exactly. We're releasing one song first, and then we're gonna, then we're actually even going to do a video for it, and then we will release more later on. But this song came together so fast and so incredible. It's just like I said, when I joined the band gelled like this. And I just had a feeling that my first collaboration with the guys writing a track was going to be like that. And it did. And the song's like it's like a freight train. It's a straight ahead, like I said, AC/DC fan. It's got that, that type of beat. And that's what I'm going for. I'm looking forward to doing so much with these guys in the future.
How quickly are we likely to get the songs that you're writing with the band into the live set?
Oh, that's the next show we do. You'll hear the new song live. That's yeah. I mean, we were actually going to rehearse it at Soundcheck in England. and when we were over there, we were maybe gonna think about playing it while we were there. So whenever the next show is that we play live, you'll hear the song in the set. So it's there.
I'm sure Gina will be right there to record it and post it.
Yeah, post it and FaceTime it, and it'll be great.
I guess this is where I get to be a geek and just remind the fans that the new album, New World, New Eyes, is coming out May 8th. 11 kick-ass songs. on
Got
Frontiers
Mud for
Records.
Your-
Frontier.
Oh yeah.
How is it having the same record label all these years with House of Lords?
Well, Frontiers has treated us really good. Serafino and Mario, they're a great team. I don't, I have to say they're the label. If you're, for Europe, I mean, if you're in that genre of music, like House of Lords is, that's the label to be on. As far as I'm concerned, they seem to have all the bands. But they're also, they seem lately they're branching off into some other type music as well. So, good for them. That's great. Whatever they got to do.
Nah, man. I mean, I'm a gear nerd, so having you already talk guitars and answering Steve's question about like if you still have it, I mean, I could do that all day. So
well, I'll tell you right now, everything I do is old school. I don't use anything new. I have when I go on the road, I have a homemade pedal board. Nice. I have a wah-wah and overdrive and a coarse pedal sometimes. In Autograph, I don't even use the coarse pedal, so it's a wah-wah and overdrive into the front of the amp. And then I just started using a delay, a boost and a delay that I hit for when I do a solo that goes through the effects loop. But, my pedal board's this big. I put it in a laptop case, and that's what I travel with. It's on a piece of wood. The other guys, when I'm out on the road, I'm setting it up. I'm looking at all these other guys' pedal boards, from all these other bands, and they're looking at it though. They go, "Oh my God, I can't believe you got that in a laptop case. That's great." I try to travel like that. I try to make everything where I can go on the airplane with it, bring it on the airplane. That's what I try to do.
Nice. Do you have an ideal guitar that you'd like to have or own?
Well, there's so many guitars. I have a lot of custom guitars made for me. Robert's Guitars out of Florida, PVX guitars out of the Carolinas. Right now with Autograph, I have two Charvel guitars that I absolutely love. Two SoCals. I kind of custom did them myself. I had to rip the toggle switch out, put Gibson toggle switches in. I put my own, a couple of Seymour Duncan JB pickups in there because that's the sound that I like. And I just made them play where I could play them. Very comfortable. This is, I'll just tell you real quick. Joining Autograph, I had to go back to using a Floyd Rose Trem. I haven't used a Floyd Rose Trem since the '80s. I didn't even have a guitar with a Floyd Rose Trem. So that was something I had to get real quick, because I've been using Gibson SGs for quite a while. And, I said to Simon and the guys, I said, geez, am I able to do this stuff without a trem? And they said, well, you can, but it would be great if, and I said, okay, that's it. I'm going to get guitars with trems. You don't have to say another word, whatever you guys want. That's how much I wanted to gig, whatever they wanted. I said, yeah, I'll do it.
Real quick, so you went with Floyd. Have you spoke to or reached out to Adam Reaver of FU-Tone?
I have not yet. I've been told to go do that, but I haven't as of yet. I mean, he's got so many people hitting him up, and I'm very shy about things like that. I don't want to go, hey, I play with If the opportunity comes and it's a comfortable situation, and I could approach him like at a NAMM show and just talk to him a little bit, I'll probably do it. Go that route as opposed, unless somebody says, Jimmy, I'll hook this up for you. Let me make a call, and then
I'm best friends with Adam.
Oh, okay, thank you.
So
you're my guy.
Let's touch base.
Okay, thank you, because I love his stuff. I absolutely love everything he makes. I need that thing that blocks the tremolo too. That I need one of those.
Yeah, he does all my Floyds.
Yeah. Okay. Good. That's wonderful to know. I like the blocks he has and everything. So yeah, anything you could do would be greatly appreciated. Thank you very much.
Cool.
All right. Question. Here we go. Since you're from Connecticut, are you a Yankee fan or a Red Sox fan?
I don't even know anything about sports. The only thing I know about The only thing I know about is professional wrestling because I did a lot of soundtracks for the WWE.
Right.
So I played on a lot of the wrestlers' entrance music. Yeah, so that was my thing. I used to go down to Stamford, Connecticut, play on a track for the WWE, run home because I would do it on Monday, for Monday Night Raw. I'd run home and sit in front of TV and I'll wait to hear myself play guitar on TV. And, and that was a real cool thing too. Like every time there was a live WWE event, they would give me tickets and I would go and I'm sitting in this arena. And then all of a sudden I hear my guitar coming through this big speakers in the arena. And I'm going, wow, this is a trip, man. And then wrestlers walking out, like this. So I'm going, yeah, I love this, So, yeah, wrestling is the only thing I know about.
Who's your favorite wrestler?
Other than golf, my father used to play a lot of golf. So that's
Okay.
Well, actually, I've been engaged for quite a while. It was just, of course, my 3 Facebook pages that I had all got hacked. So when I redid a new page, it updated everything. So I've actually been engaged for quite a while. But yeah, so Mandy's like really on top of all this with the virus controls. She's a director over at St. Francis Hospital here, a very big hospital, and they have a whole special unit. They just set up a special outdoor testing facility where you don't even go into the hospital. It's a drive-through, like almost like it is. It's a drive-up thing. They take all your information. You actually get swabbed right in the car. And then everything gets sent out. It's a very cool process. They're really on top of it. Trying to keep everything in check. Well, I honestly, I have my own views on this. Social media is unfortunately a very bad thing to be looking at because it puts worldwide panic and everything. I mean, I watch it and I get anxiety, and I try to keep very calm about the situation. I know it's going to get fixed. It's they're working on things. They're making some progress. It will get fixed, but social media, when you see people beating up people for toilet paper, videos of people going mass hysteria, then all of a sudden you start freaking out. Like I actually went to a CVS here and I bought toilet paper and I didn't even need it, but it was just because I saw everybody going mental, on Facebook. I didn't even need it, but I bought it. It's like, so it's kind of like I said, well, geez, everybody else is going mental, and that's what it does. It puts fear in everybody, and everybody is going crazy. But I would say, Mandy just says, you wash your hands constantly. Don't put your fingers in your mouth. She's yelling at me constantly because sometimes I chew on a nail, and she goes, "Get your hand out of your mouth." It's like she's yelling. She gives me a whole list of instructions of things to do when I was going to gigs. Don't do this, don't do that. I literally just packed up and left instead of even playing. Thank you so much. I had such a great time doing this interview.
Yeah,
Thank you for thinking of me. I
No,
really appreciate it. Thank you.
True story. No, I just want to
Jimmy,
say,
thank you so much, bro.
right?
Thank you.
We asked Jimmy on Monday morning if he would be a guest today, and he said yes. So really, thank you for short
Very
notice.
cool.
Oh, I really enjoy this stuff, especially. I don't get to do them live like this. Most of the interviews I do are either phone or email. Those are my worst. Email, because I have to copy and paste and type the answers. It's like, oh man, forget that. I'd rather just talk to people. And this is great because I had 5 people with 5 different sets of questions. People throwing things at me. I enjoyed it very much. Thank you for having me. Well, I hope to meet you all in person very soon. That would be great. We could all just hang out and do something together. It'd be great at a show. Let's all get past this and get our lives back on track, and we'll all hang out together. If you guys do want to come up to the festival in Connecticut, it'd be definitely worth the trip. Like I said, it's free. And God, praying to God that all this is gone by that time. It is July 11th, so it is a ways off. So let's keep good thoughts.
Absolutely.
Yeah, Jimi Bell. Of course, my website is JimiBellGuitarist.com. I have a Jimi Bell music page. I want to thank my webmaster, Terry Lane, for everything she does for me. So there's a lot of people I want to thank, and I'm sure I missed 1,000 of them. But thank you to everybody. I'll sign off. I'll talk to you guys later. Take care, everybody. All right, Jim. Thank you. Don't forget to contact me about the FU tone. Thank you so much.
Hey, no problem. I'll send you a note.
You are listening to the M3 Summit, your source for all things rock and roll.
Woo! Woo!
Just hit like and hit share and share our show, please.
Yes.
M3 Summit, we come to you every Wednesday live at 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time.
Unfortunately, I don't, because everything got scrapped, like I know what happened to a lot of people. But the one thing I really, gotta put out there, again, like it was something that, we talked about at the end of last show. We were getting so much support for Bradley and for Ballroom Blitz. So I just want to keep that on the forefront for people. Like, that's getting rescheduled. We're working on it now. The dates will get released. Like, we're all bummed. We're all sad, for all the various events, and especially in this business, even like what Jimmy was saying, where a lot of people took a hit for this, like a serious hit. But for the fans that are supporting, keep in mind, just keep watching. It'll be there. We want everybody to come out again. But the music scene in general, like, don't give up on it. It's right there for everyone.
No, I'm just trying to stay healthy and stay out of the damn hospital anymore, man. I've been staying in the house. I wind up getting a heart attack. I'm like, man.
If the nurses have big titties, it's worth it.
They don't have a mask on anymore, man. Oh. And if I got to get one more tube shoved in me in places that I don't want.
Damn.
It's too much information, bro. I had a colonoscopy, so I feel your pain.
My virgin ears. All right,
Too much information.
No, I have nothing. Everything's on hiatus. The college is shut down for a minimum till in March. It's just on a loop right now.
It's still scheduled for June 6th, but like you said, we should all be a united front, because what does music do for us? It brings us all together, and we should all collaborate. Unite front, not just us. Spread the word about our events, but everybody's event. to bring everybody closer and happier and healthier and safer. And, you know, fucking wash your hands. Simple as that. And enjoy.
Yeah.
Share, like, and share.
Like and share.
Exactly. Like and share.
Later.
Later, guys.
Yeah, Steve is going to take off his shirt next week. Tune in.
You are listening to the M3 Summit, your source for all things rock and roll.